Welcome to Dialogue, the dialogue on analog music reproduction. In this episode, we're going to try to understand how to correctly choose and mainly match your headphones with your gear. Fixed or portable? Amplifier, smartphone, whatever it is. Ready? Let's get to it. Okay guys, a lot of you have wrote me asking how to choose your headphones based on certain characteristics of the headphone and certain characteristics of your amplifier or your smartphone or your portable player or whatever it is, streamer, DAC. In any case, we're always talking about amplification and something to hear, to listen to your music, and you have to combine them. Actually, it's something very similar to loudspeakers. The key concept here is drivability. How specific amplifiers, how specific gizmos, how specific pieces of gear are capable of driving these babies. And their ability to be driven. I know, it sounds difficult. It isn't. It's very simple. In fact, we're going to take a look at the main specs. You should keep your eyes open. Nevertheless, I do want to underline how specs, unfortunately, are not certified. There is almost a spec war going on. In order to have the best specs as possible, regardless the sound, if it's good or not, you want good specs because people are going to look at those, unfortunately, sadly. Don't fall for it. Always check if somebody independently on a magazine, on a forum, did some true measurements. And in this case, measurements are good, which will give you a better idea. For example, even the impedance of the headphones. We're going to see in a while what this means. A lot of times, it's not what has been declared from the manufacturer. Things change also. Simply, things may change during the manufacturing process. Or maybe, yes, they're just declaring something better than reality. And they can do that, unfortunately, unless someone publishes results. And that's, fortunately, what is protecting us. Okay, so we're going to go through 7 points in order to understand how to correctly combine these two elements we said, in order to have great, perfect drivability. Are you ready? Let's get started. Okay, point number 1. The type of transducer, the type of driver that your headphones have. Because if you're trying to pick a headphone suitable to your daily life, you're going to try to understand what kind of headphones out there. Apart from all the concept of open back, closed back, we're not interested in that. We're just going to touch the main points we're interested in order to have a good drivability, okay? So already, if you want to get a type of dynamic headphone or a type of planar magnetic headphone or an electrostatic headphone, there are also others, but already if you're making these choices, you're going to know you're going to need, especially in the last 2 cases, something a little more strong, powerful to drive them. Then you're going to go towards a specific type of headphone, towards a specific type of amp. According to what you already have, you're probably going to move, you're going to start from that. And now we're going to go on the rest of the main points in order to try to make the right step, the right decision in order to have this combination. Let's proceed. Point number 2, frequency response. This is not fundamental in order to choose the right combination, the right matching. Nevertheless, it is good to know a little bit more about this because everyone is talking about frequency response. Everyone wants a huge, an optimal frequency response. Well, first of all, we have to split the 2 concepts of frequency response and frequency range. Okay, and this is something useful also for gear in general, but also, as you can imagine, for loudspeakers. Now, the frequency response is how that piece of gear reacts, responses in a linear way, how much it differs from that when that piece of gear is undergoing a specific signal, usually 20 hertz all the way to 20 kilohertz. That's the range where that piece of gear should perform correctly. That's the minimum, we could say today, at a specific amplitude. Usually 1 dB, more or less 3 dB, it depends. In any case, unfortunately, when you see frequency response, a lot of times it's actually the frequency range. Nevertheless, if it's not perfectly declared or separated, you're not going to know. But don't worry. If you're looking after high resolution, you want, at least the certification says the following, you want something that is capable of going above 40 kilohertz. Now, first of all, I did a specific video on high resolution headphones and all the problems connected to them and to high res. So take a look at that video. Here is a link. Because it's not that linear, not that obvious actually. There are some problems. High res is not so ideal and perfect. Nevertheless, in my opinion, a wide frequency range means that the drivers are nice and comfy, can really go where they want, okay, in order to reproduce even the normal standard frequency, 20K. So if you have a higher frequency response, or better, a higher frequency range, I think it's better. But nonetheless, there are fantastic headphones that just declare 20K. So it is not that fundamental. Again, I want to highlight this, okay? Let's proceed. Point number 3, another point that a lot of people are always talking about, citing, looking at, THD, total harmonic distortion. Now, I'm citing this point because it's not important, actually. So don't worry. I mean, the headphones that are made today, the amplifiers that are made today, are well below something that can bother you. They are well performing. Don't worry. I mean, already when you see 0 point something, it's already excellent. So don't worry about that, okay? We're not going to even go in what it is. Just, it's not that relevant. A good headphone is not going to be dependent on that value. Obviously, if it's lower, it should be more performing. It should be better. Enough said. Let's proceed. Point number 4, the most important, I would say, impedance. This is a fundamental word. You're also going to find that referring to speakers, for example. So it's good to know about it. I know a lot of you guys who watch me know everything about these things, but as you know, there are a lot of newbies or a lot of people who are just traveling in their life with just hearing these concepts without actually absorbing them, without actually understanding them. So I'm going to read the definition in order to say it correctly. The impedance is the opposition that a circuit presents to a current when a voltage is applied. In simple words, when electric current is passing through a piece of gear, there is an opposition, okay, based on the different parts. The more that opposition is big, obviously it's going to be harder to drive, in our case, headphones, or as I said, loudspeakers. So when we have a lower impedance, a lower number of ohms, that's the value which impedance goes under, the omega, the Greek letter omega, or written ohms. When it's low, it's easier to drive a pair of headphones. When it's higher, it's going to be difficult. But we have different steps, okay? Let's say the general rule is that if you're looking for a pair of headphones that you want to use out and about, for example, with your smartphone or a portable player, which is not that powerful, you're going to already start looking for headphones with a low impedance. The best would be below 32 ohms. Optimal, 20, 25, that range there. Then you're good to go for portable stuff, because you want easy to drive headphones, okay? And impedance is already a fundamental point in this respect. If you're at home and you have a muscle amplifier, you don't give a damn if you have 10 ohms or 600. No problem there. In any case, always check, obviously, your amplifier, because there are some ranges even there, which usually could go from 10 all the way, as I said, 600, but maybe it could be less. So if it's stated, not always it's stated, try to see the amount of ohms recommended impedance that your amplifier, wherever it is situated, because we're always talking about an amplifier that is going to drive your headphones, can deal with, okay? Then we have an upper range, going more or less from 30 all the way to 100. That's a middle ground. You're not going to need a very powerful amplifier, and maybe you're not going to need an amplifier, external amplifier point, but it's better if you do. In any case, if you are below 100, you can try with perhaps a dynamic pair of headphones. You could try to have good results. You're probably not going to reach the peak, the pinnacle of the performance, because we also have to understand this concept. It's not that when you plug your headphones, if they're working, that means they're delivering the maximum of their capabilities. No, guys. That is something that I've experienced many years ago on my skin. If you do not have enough power, and you always want enough power, unless they're extremely easy to drive headphones, then your headphones are not going to express themselves at their full potential, unfortunately. So always keep in mind, that's the whole point of the video, actually. So, and when you're going above 100, you're certainly going to need a good power amplifier, a headphone amplifier with enough power, enough muscle. But otherwise, you're just going to lose everything on the road, and you're just going to hit a teeny thin little sound there. You're throwing away your money. This is fundamental, guys. Let's proceed. Point number 5, sensitivity. Okay, this is the other concept, together with impedance, which is fundamental in this video. This, together with impedance, is the most important of all, because from that value, you can understand, again, how easy a pair of headphones, and we're not talking only about headphones, obviously, but also earbuds, in-ear monitors, anything, and again, obviously, loudspeakers. So, the sensitivity is expressed, you're going to find the SPL, the sound pressure level, expressed in a number of dB. After we're going to see the different ranges. Per a specific power unit or voltage, you're usually going to find millivolts or volts. In any case, I've seen that all the specs are now only expressed in millivolts. So you're going to have to try to understand that kind of value, which usually is driven at a specific frequency, which simply means how loud a headphone will play at a given power level, okay? And that is an index, as I said, of drivability. So more or less, for example, we know that if you have a 85, 90 dB sensitivity, the headphones are kind of hard to drive. It's going to be difficult. If you're looking, again, for example, for something, a portable headphone you want to use with your smartphone, you're going to look something above 100, just to give you an idea. And this mainly regards this distinction. I mean, if you want to go out and about, you really need something efficient, easy to drive. So low impedance and high sensitivity. With these two values, you're good to go. If you're in your house and you're using your fixed gear, you probably have a little more room. And if you have to go and buy an amplifier, get a muscle amplifier if you have low sensitivity and high ohms, high number of ohms. Okay, guys? This is fundamental. Let's proceed. Point number 6, amp power output. We already said this actually, but I had to put a specific point. Regardless the design and specific aspects that make you draw your attention towards that specific amplifier. But before checking that, you need to check the power. That's the main function of an amplifier. So again, I recommend to have at least 1000 milliwatts. Before I said millivolts, sorry, milliwatts. Or 1 watt. It's the same thing. It's the same amount. 1000 milliwatts is 1 watt. And with that amount of power, you can already drive a good number of headphones. If, for example, we're talking of planar magnetic, regardless of the specs, trust me, find an amplifier that delivers at least 2 watts, 2000 milliwatts. Obviously, it depends also on this power depends on the impedance. So if you look at the specs, good amplifiers should indicate their power output according to the different impedance of the headphones. Like, for example, 32, 100, 300, and obviously the power is going to decrease. The higher the impedance, the lower the power the amplifier is going to be capable of delivering. So if you have a high impedance and you want some power, you're really going to need a muscle amplifier to drive that. And they're not that many. They're not that many. You guys, I'm sure that a lot of reviews, I'm not just telling about opinions around there, a lot of reviews on forums, on dedicated websites, journals and stuff. In most cases, they are testing their headphones. Well, not pros, obviously, but a lot of people who are getting close to this world, they're making some mistakes probably in the matchability, in the drivability, because if there isn't that much power, again, I want to underline this, you're not going to pull out all the fantastic qualities of that pair of headphones. Okay, guys? So always check this aspect. Let's proceed. Point number 7, balanced configuration. If you want to try to draw a little bit of extra juice and have better specs, a good idea is to get a true balanced circuit amplifier. This is not fundamental, okay? No problem if you don't. That it is something a little more rather new in the consumer market. But there are more and more gizmos, portable, but also fixed amplifiers that have a balanced circuit design. And it has to be inside fully balanced, not just the balanced output with a balanced output, which usually is going to be an XLR, but not necessarily. There are lots of balanced connections, according also to the different types of cables and connectors that headphones have. In any case, the typical one, it's the XLR, obviously. And why would you prefer that? Well, obviously, the first reason is that if you have your headphones several meters away from your amplifier, that's going to help in canceling all kinds of interference. That's why a balanced connection was born, first of all. But there are also other positive effects. Well, first of all, you're going to have more power already there. And the performance in general is just going to be better. You're going to have less total harmonic distortion, no crosstalk, which is we could say the spill of the sound of one channel into another. So it's just better if you can to use a balanced connection. Again, you need a balanced type of amplifier and a balanced type of connection, not headphones, connection. If the connection is balanced, then you're good to go. And that is all. I'm sure there are other suggestions. Please leave them here below in the comments. I'm interested in that. Thank you again for watching. And remember, music is born analog. Ciao! Oh, yeah! Woo! Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.